So here are the supplemental problems from section 8.5 for pre-algebra. So it's from the homework, the worksheet you've got. So I'm just going to do number 2, and I'll do both parts for 2 and 4 because they both relate to it. So it says find the constant rate of change for each linear function and interpret its meaning. So we actually did this in section 8.4. It's the same thing. You can look at it two ways. Look at the change in time each time I'm going down the table. So that's 1.2 seconds I'm adding on. As I add 2 yards each time. Excuse me. So if you look at this, it's 2 yards I'm changing in 1.2 seconds. Which, if I simplify that, I can multiply by 10 and get 20 over 12, which becomes then 10 over 6, which ends up becoming 5 over 3, which is 1 2/3 yards per second. Okay, so that's the rate of change we have here. Okay, now the question is, okay, on part number 4 then, is hey, is this relationship linear? Or sorry, is it proportional, or is it just or linear? And explain your reasoning. Okay. Now, if it were proportional, okay, if it were proportional, what I would have to do then is show that every time I divide this number by this number and this number by this number, I get the same thing. So I'll take 6, divide it by 1.2. Again, multiplying by 2 or by 10, I get 60 over 12. That's 5 to 1. Okay. Now, right off the bat, I know this actually isn't proportional because if y divided by x is not the same thing as the rate of change, it's not proportional. But I'll do the same thing again just to show you. If I do 8 over 2.4, which multiply both of those by, sorry, I'm out of the screen here, aren't I? Multiply both of those by 10, I get 80 over 24. That reduces to be, oh gosh, 10 over 3, which is 3 and 1/3. So by dividing y by x both times, I don't get the same thing, so not proportional because y divided by x is not constant. Sorry, it's off screen here. So not proportional because y divided by x is not constant. Okay. Now the next two problems we want to look at are 5 and 6 in the worksheet, and they are the kind of like application word problems. That was just checking to see, is this proportional? If so, then kind of, how do we know? Now 5 and 6 though, it's telling us, hey, they vary directly. So the cost of paper varies directly with the number of reams bought. Suppose 2 reams cost 5.10. Well, here is our relationship. 2 reams cost 5.10. And they're telling us X reams of paper. Now for number 5, since we know this is direct variation, we have this formula where we divide the y by the x to get the k value. And that's why we check to see is it proportional, because direct variation just means it's actually proportional. So if this is x, if reams of paper is x, that means cost is 5.10. So 5.10 over 2 reams is 2.55 per ream. And that's proportional then. Plus that also means our direct variation formula where it's y equals k times x gives us y equals 2.55x, which again should kind of make sense. Hopefully it's 255 per ream. If I know how many reams I have, I just multiply that by 255, which is what they're asking me to do on 6. Find the cost of 15 reams. Well, here's the equation that relates it for number 5. Number 6 then is y equals 2.55 times 15. So I'll have to do 2.55 times 15. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 25 again, 7. Carry the 2. 12. Bring it to 0. Then 5, 5, 2. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 1 is 8. And then 3 and then I have 2 decimal places. So it'll cost us $38.25. Oh, sorry, I just kind of, I apologize. Look at the paper the whole time. I didn't realize all my multiplication here was being left off screen. But you know what to do. 2.55 times 15, I get 38.25. That's how much money I'll have to pay for 15 reams of paper. Okay, so if you have any questions about section 2 or 8.5, come on in. I can try to do my best I can to help you out.